Veterans, are you being scammed when buying a new construction home? Here's what they don't want you to know. Builders and their lenders are making you pay for so-called incentives, and it's costing you thousands. So stick around to learn how builders are forcing you into bad deals and what you can do to protect yourself. Welcome, veterans and family members. I'm David Piatek, your VA Home Loan Pro. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to get the latest tips on VA home loans and real estate. Today, we're exposing a major issue in the new construction world that costs veterans thousands of dollars. It's something builders don't want you to know, but I'm here to pull back the curtain. Here's how it starts. You look at new construction homes, and the builder tells you that to access special incentives like closing cost credits or free upgrades, you need to get a pre-approval with their preferred lender. Sounds like a good deal, right? But what they're not telling you is that most of these preferred lenders are owned by the same company as the builder. In my eyes, that's a conflict of interest, but it is legal. Imagine being promised $5,000 or more in closing cost credits only to find out you're paying thousands in hidden fees. And when I say hidden fees, they're actually in plain sight, but they don't tell you what you're responsible for in paying. I see it all the time. Now, if this has happened to you, please drop a comment down below. And the reason we're making this video is because I've been getting an insane amount of calls around new construction deals, and majority of the time, they're just not favorable. And I'm gonna touch on a couple hidden things that they don't tell you as well throughout the video. So let's talk about what these hidden fees are and what they mean. So these in-house lenders often charge higher origination fees and discount points or other junk fees to recoup the cost of these incentives. Now, if these lenders had to compete on the open market, they would lose because their rates and fees are far less competitive than if you were on the open market. On top of all of that, this is a little off subject when it comes to lender fees, but it's the developers themselves and what they put in their clauses in the contract that make you pay for their closing costs or transfer taxes. It's heartbreaking when I see this, and it's more often than not. The sales rep won't tell the buyer, nor will the lender. I think it's because they don't want the buyer to back out, and they really can't back out and get their earnest money back because a lot of times their contracts are ironclad. It's mind-blowing. We look at these all the time. And let me give you guys a real life example of somebody that we recently helped buy a property. So I had a veteran that watched the video. He reached out because he saw the video, or it was around the condo part. He was looking to purchase a condo. Now, the lender gave him a loan estimate, and we looked at it. It actually was kind of, we looked at it, and it was $33,000 that he had to bring in closing costs. Now, he had a $30,000 seller credit, right? So that was the incentive for using their builder. But again, when we looked at it, they literally charged him that much in just straight up just fees, which didn't make sense because the rate we offered with no fees at that time didn't have any of those fees. So that's the scope of the mind-blowing that we're talking about, okay? Now, the lender couldn't do the loan because the condo was denied by the VA. Now, I want you guys to remember something. We did a whole video on this, that you can get VA condo waivers, and we submit those and get those, right? So that's something that we do all the time. So this veteran saw that, reached out, and then this is kind of how we got to do that, right? So we were able to get the waiver for them because the other lender was not. That builder honored the $30,000 seller credit because the other lender denied him. So guess what? When closing day came, the seller or the buyer paid about $10,000 in closing costs and used the other $20,000 to pay off a car and some credit card debt, which you can do with a VA loan, but it definitely has some limitation. It's actually one of the only programs out there that lets you do that. So not only did they save money from closing costs, they saved in their overall debt structure because a car and some credit cards were paid off. I mean, I couldn't have been happier for him. He's watching the video now. Thanks again for reaching out and working with us. So now this practice is especially harmful because it targets those who serve our country, our fellow military members and their families. We've earned these benefits, but these builders and lenders are taking advantage of us. By overpaying on fees, you're losing money that can go towards other parts of the house like furniture, tools, moving expenses, your kids, school. There's a lot of other things that you can use that money for. And I cannot stress how many times I see this every single day. Now let's bust the myth right now of these incentives like free upgrades or closing cost credits. They're not free. You're paying for it somehow at the end of the day. Just remember, in life, nothing is free. There's always a catch somewhere that you're gonna come down the line. Now, and I'll take a step back as well. There are times when we look at these builder incentives and they legitimately are good, right? Now, real estate itself, right? We could have a whole discussion around incentives because technically they could just give you a lower price in the house so you pay lower interest. Can that be inflating prices? Right, there's separate discussion we can have around that. But when you look at the general market, there are times when we look at these and we're like, hey, this is legit. Like they're doing a US solid, but it doesn't really happen that much. So now what can you do to protect yourself? So here's 3 steps that can get you on the right track. So 1, shop around for a VA approved lender before committing to the builder's lender. And always happy to help you guys with that. You can schedule calls with me in the description below. You can also ask for a loan estimate or a fee itemization from other lenders to look at rates and fees, and then you kind of figure out how you want to structure that. I did a whole video around understanding closing costs because that was like a general statement. There's a lot that goes into a fee itemization and loan estimate and how lenders can manipulate it and make you actually pay more even though you think you're going to be paying less. So there's things that can change. You want to know that. And you have to know your rights, right? You are not required to use the builder's lender to qualify for a VA home loan. Even if you're tempted at these incentives, calculate the real cost. You might be better off declining them and going with an independent lender. Unfortunately, now this next part is 100% my experience talking with these people day in, day out, right? This is what I do for a living. They are badgers, and the things that they tell you in a way I think are very threatening because they don't want you to use an outside company, and they will say whatever it takes. I've seen the emails and I've heard the conversations from them. So don't let these builders' tactics cost you thousands of dollars. Always do your homework. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more tips on VA loans. Check out the links in the description below. Thank you for watching and your service. Let's make sure your hard-earned benefits work for you. If you know a veteran buying a new construction home, please share this video with them, and I'll talk to you guys soon.